With it almost being an entire year since Resident Evil Village was released and Capcom confirming that a DLC for Village is very much in the works, theories and predictions for what fans could see in the DLC have been all over the internet. So, I have come up with a theory of how a DLC could tie in Ada Wong and Elena while taking place during the events of Village, and even making Elena a returning character for the Resident Evil franchise. Let's get into it. Elena has an entire section in the village and a bit in the castle where she's trying to get her father to Louise's house, which was originally planned by the developers to be in Resident Evil Village, but then never got to see the light of day. This is when Elena's content comes into play. Let's say they use all the scrap content, and then after that long section of Elena and her father finally arriving after fighting their way to Louise's house, then we eventually meet Ethan. Ethan and Elena try to escape the burning house. Just as they're escaping, Elena falls into the inferno with her father. This is where my theory comes in. Elena could have fallen through the floorboard when she dropped into the inferno and ended up in some underground tunnel situation. Because of this, Elena eventually meets someone. That's the end of Elena's DLC. Now for Ada Wong to come into play. Now because the developers originally planned for Ada to come in and save Ethan from the Four Lords, but then scrapped the idea, they could instead have it start like in the Separate Ways DLC in Resident Evil 4, where she drops in and we get the brief on why she's here and what her mission is. Here is where my theory for Ada comes in. So she gets started on her mission, doing what Ada Wong does best. When she hears a lot of commotion coming from below, she gets a bird's eye view through her binoculars to peek on what the commotion is about. When she sees Ethan backing up into a hole while Heisenberg is counting down and Ethan jumps, Ada realizes she's too late and continues. "Damn, out of my hands now. Good luck," Ada whispers. Ada ventures into the village when she hears some commotion of trash and boxes falling over. Ada turns around quickly and gets suspicious. She draws her weapon and slowly approaches the pile of trash. Ada dashes behind the pile of trash to find Elena, disheveled, weak, and with a broken arm. Ada stares at Elena and walks away. Elena begs Ada to help her, but Ada ignores her. Elena begs, "Please." Ada stops and stares at the ground in a decision. She sighs in regret as Ada goes over to rush Elena to safety as Elena's begs for help brought over some lichens. Ada escorts Elena through the village, and then they escape before Ethan blows the village sky high. With Elena alive, she could be a brand new character introduced into the Resident Evil franchise. Here's how. Elena is saved by Ada. She is free at last, but on the long helicopter ride back, she is haunted and traumatized by the chaos and horror she had to witness. All her friends and family are dead. She is relieved to have gotten out of there, but another part of her isn't, since the village is her home. She wonders, if she was stronger then, could she have saved her father from being bitten? This leads to Elena asking Ada to train her and teach her. Ada refuses her request and says, "In my line of work, I can't have anything holding me back." Elena responds with, "Then why go out of your way to save me, huh?" "I didn't. I walked away, remember?" Ada says. "Only to turn around and save me," Elena says. "Only because your yelling was going to bring a bunch of lichens down on us." "Psst, you're right," Elena scoffed. "You're not the first person I've saved, you know. You're not that special." "Wow, that explains a lot," Elena expresses. "What's that supposed to mean?" Ada says defensively. "It means the way you saved me shows that you have a good heart." Ada rolls her eyes as she grows silent. "It's true. You know it's true. I mean, you said it yourself. I'm not the first person you've saved. Plus, I see you carried that locket with you very close. It seems you care for that person very much." Ada quickly turns away from Elena. Ada stares at the picture of Leon. "I have nothing to go back to. Everyone I've ever known is dead. I have nothing. I don't ever want to feel weak and vulnerable as I did back there, ever again. When I watch you fight, it was amazing. You know how to handle yourself. Just teach me. Please." It gets quiet. Ada turns around. "Fine. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment on what you want to see in the Resident Evil Village DLC. Back to the video. Now, this was a brief summary, just like for you to see the potential of what this could be if it were to be worked on and perfected over by the people at Capcom. Now, of course, if this were an actual DLC, it would be fleshed out way better dialogue. This is just like a brief summary for you guys to see the potential, or just like get what my idea could be for, an Ada and Elena DLC. But with the story like this, it leaves the door open for us to dive deep into Ada and her personal life, like who she works for, what she does in her free time, etc. And this also introduces a brand new character into the Resident Evil franchise.